All right, guys, so I'm gonna ride to my local park and talk about this new scooter that I just got, which is the 2016 Honda Forza 300cc. Okay, in reality, this is a 270cc displacement scooter, but they simply just call it 300cc. And I'm gonna start the scooter. I'm gonna ride to the park, and then I will go through the scooter with you guys and tell you about my first impression of the Forza 300. And so I'm not wearing a helmet because the park is literally 3 minutes away in my local street. So let's just do a quick ride over there, and we'll start the actual review process. All right, and the bike is parked. Here is a full 360-degree view of the Honda Forza. Okay. Again, this is a 2016 year model, 300cc claimed, but the actual horsepower, actual displacement is around 270. Beautiful Honda red. This scooter I got last week. I actually drove 140 miles to go pick up the scooter up north, and I rode this scooter back without any kind of modifications. So literally I bought it from the seller, rode 140 miles back, and it arrived without any hiccup or issues. It even rained during the ride back, so I had my full rain gear on, so I was not soaked, thankfully. But the scooter, when I first got it, it's missing the windshield. The seller said the windshield was damaged in his garage, so I went on to eBay. I literally bought this replacement windshield for I think $38. It's shipped to me. If you buy it brand new, it's around I think $80, but $30 is a good price. So I bought it, shipped to me, and when the scooter arrived, I was able to install the windshield without any issue. And to my surprise, only 3 screws are required to access the windshield and only 4 screws required to put it on. So if you're thinking about upgrading the windshield to a highway capable one, which if you ride on the highway, I would highly suggest get a much taller one so the wind resistance is reduced significantly. So when I rode back 140 miles, it's 90% highway. I was maintaining a speed of around I think 65 to 75 miles per hour. And when I bought it, again, there's no windshield. So the wind is literally just blasting on my face, which is crazy. Okay, it's a lot of wind, and it actually made the ride pretty fatigued. However, I made it back to tell you guys my first impression of this scooter. This particular one, when I went there, it only had 1,700, a little more than 1,700 miles on it. So it's like practically brand new. There are only a few small scratches here and there. Looks like the bike was touched onto something like over here. And some scratches on the back from probably carrying stuff, and a little crack here. But again, it's, if you look at this oil drain tube, it's literally new. And everything here, there's just no sign of use on this scooter. So which, I was really glad, and I got it for a really good price. Well, I don't want to disclose price because again, it's part of negotiation, part of fair business buying and selling. So, but I got it for below $2,000. And again, for a 300cc scooter, I think if you can get any 300cc scooter in great condition for below $2,000, it is a great price. Okay. So let's go over things that I really like about the scooter. And again, I'm going to talk in comparison to the scooter that I just reviewed and sold, which is my old Piaggio Fly 150. That Gen 2 with fuel injection and 3 valves, which again, I highly praised for. And but once you start riding a 360 scooter, okay, then you realize, 150cc is perfectly fine for city riding and maybe 1 to 2% of highway riding, because the Fly 150 is capable of going 60 miles per hour on the highway. Now this one, 300cc, is capable of going 82 to 83 miles per hour as clocked on my GPS, reported on my cell phone. So that's actual 80 miles per hour speed. Okay, so this scooter is no joke. It's very highly capable. Is it comfortable without the windscreen? Absolutely not. It's a lot of drag on your body. So make sure, whether you're commuting on the scooter or motorcycle, on the highway, just get a comfortable windscreen that protects you from the environment. So that's my advice. But again, 300cc compared to the 150cc Piaggio, the engine is a lot more smoother across the RPM range. There is only a slight vibration when the engine, the tachometer is indicating at around 72 to 75,000, 7,500 RPM. I can feel slight vibration, but across all the range, past the 7,500 and below the 7,200, the scooter is just so smooth. There is no vibration or noticeable vibration that can be felt on the scooter. And my hand was also not feeling fatigued. Usually if you have a lot of vibration, your hand on the handlebar in a long ride, you usually feel like numb. But for this scooter, when I got back, my hand was not numb. So that just tells me the vibration is actually better compared to the Piaggio 150. In the city riding, the 300cc being probably almost 100 pounds heavier than the Piaggio, and also a smaller wheel size in the front compared to the Piaggio, it's slightly less nimble in the city traffic. However, it's still very capable for lane split, because again, the scooter, in reality, the width is not that much. It's just a maxi scooter design with a lot of body parts to protect you from the wind, at least on the lower body part. So I would say if you're concerned about lane splitting, it's about the same. But the scooter itself just feels less, I would say, nimble compared to the other scooter that's out there. So another thing I want to say is again, wheel size is probably smaller, and in the city riding, it actually, you can feel that a lot of bumps are not absorbed well. But I think besides that, it's still pretty smooth. The difference between the rear is on the Piaggio is actually, I think, a one shock design. So on the Forza is actually two shocks. How's it going? It's actually two shocks. So in terms of adjustability, I think the Forza is actually a lot better designed, or at least gives you more comfort on the rear end if you're actually riding in the city. So shocks, this one is better than the Piaggio, but in terms of wheel size on the front, the Piaggio actually had a slight advantage compared to the Forza. Just this little small wheel, it just, you know, it just not very good at absorbing kind of rough road bumps that is designed, or that is performed better on the bigger wheels. Okay. Huge difference again is the liquid cooling. So the Forza has a liquid cooled engine, and the Piaggio had a air cooled engine. In the actual riding, there really isn't any difference. The air cooled engine should still be able to handle stop and go traffic in the city. However, personally, I just feel like liquid cooled engine is probably a better way to go here in Miami, Florida, where the weather might get pretty hot, and you're going to be in the city stop and go traffic. So it's a lot of sitting, and the temperature might rise, and the durability of the air-cooled engine might just be slightly less compared to a fully liquid-cooled engine. And also another cool thing is that with the liquid cooling, it's got a temperature gauge for the coolant, which is very easy to figure out if your engine is overheating or not. And with the air-cooled engine on the Piaggio, unfortunately there isn't any kind of indicator, so you are at mercy of guesswork on the scooter. So goes to the instrument panel. I think it's a very well designed instrument panel. Okay, so basically it gives you all the information that you need. The fuel level gauge is right there, fairly accurate, and the speedometer, which the speed is actually measured on the rear wheel. So if I turn on the scooter and I start turning the throttle, the speedometer would actually start to measure the rear wheel speed. Tachometer, quite accurate, and it's not jumpy at all compared to the Piaggio. Again, gives you a better sense of where the engine rotation speed is at. So if you need to know, or for any kind of diagnostic purpose, the tachometer is really, really helpful. All the light on the instrument panel are LED, as stated in the Honda service manual. So there really isn't any interchangeable LED lights on this scooter. If the light is broken, I think it's actually going to be a trouble changing those lights. In comparison, the Piaggio had all those regular bulbs, which you can switch out for the LED bulbs. So that in turn is actually a little bit easier to maintain on the Piaggio compared to the Forza 300. The handlebar, really good, very comfortable, and again, a traditional steel tubular design. You can see I already mounted the RAM accessory ball over here, and I was using my GoPro for the riding video, as well as right now using it to record this first impression video. The storage space is one thing, I guess, that's also slightly more advantage compared to the Piaggio, which is a smaller scooter. Okay, so everything is controlled with a panel right here. Over here there's an opener option, so if you put your key there and put the opener option there, you can control all those locked boxes. If you lock it, none of those is going to work. And there's also a security lock right here. The security lock, I literally just glued it because the key that's used to unlock it is pretty cumbersome. If somebody tampered with your bike, accidentally locked it, and you don't have the key, or you have a aftermarket key, you're pretty much screwed, because there are small magnets inside here that triggers only with a designated key. So if you lock this, you wouldn't have to worry about someone play around with your bike and accidentally lock this hole, and you won't be able to open it. So glue this part, and I think that's my suggestion. Okay. The rear brake is combined, so in terms of braking power, very, very good, very easy to brake. Front brake only controls the front, the rear controls both front and rear, so it's a combined brake. So in terms of doing maintenance and bleeding, it's a little bit more tricky compared to a dedicated front braking caliper design, but it actually brakes on a dime. And this is not the ABS model, so there is no ABS sensor right here, but it's, again, it's very responsive, and I don't think you're gonna have any trouble riding this without an ABS brake, especially if you're just riding in the city. I don't really foresee the advantage of the ABS in this regard. Storage space, back to storage space, there is a little cup holder over here. Okay, this one is not locked, so you can always access it. So if you're riding and you put your wallets in here, every time you come and go, you can just take them out really quickly. This box is locked. It needs, so if you have documents, you can put it in the locked box over here, and I'm going to put it on the opener place, and now I can press and open the box right here. This box is a lot larger. Okay, so my documents are all in there, and again, there is also a charging hole right there. Okay, 12 volt, which is really, really nice. So you can charge your phone and other stuff in this box. Okay, I don't see a wire exit area here, so you might just have to leave your things in here to charge. Okay, instead of mounting it on your handlebar. the fuel gauge, the fuel cap locked, so you have to press over here. There's no lock here, but because this is locked, you don't really need a lock. Very easy to operate. You just twist and it opens up. Okay, and you put it back on there. Very easy to open and close. I like it. Better than the Piaggio design, which had a locked fuel cap, a little bit harder to use. Let's go to the storage space. Okay, the seat, under the seat. Okay, so right here under the seat, you definitely have more space compared to the Piaggio Fly 150 that I had. Again, it can probably fit 2 half-face helmets. I wouldn't say a full face would fit. A full face might fit on the top. Definitely is not gonna fit on the bottom over there. But again, if you go grocery shopping, I think this is enough. Okay, you have a little cubby over here that can be removed for more space, or you can hide some stuff over there. And here is a little area here to store some more stuff. I have my extra fuse over there and some random screws. Specification of the bike all can be found right here. So tire pressure and things. And I think on the other side, some more information right here. An SS300G. Okay, so it's also got the color code if you need touch-up paint and stuff. It's all there. And again, this seat I don't really like very much because it doesn't go all the way, and it kind of just stucks. It stucks halfway open, which makes putting things in here a lot harder. But it does lock. Okay, so if you're concerned about getting stuff sealed, don't worry because it fully locks, and you control it from here. On the Piaggio, you control it directly over here with a key. But I think this function works pretty good. And that's all the places you can open with the front control panel right here, okay? When you are at the opener position, you won't be able to remove the key, so you have to turn everything off and lock it to be able to remove the key for security purpose. On the grip, you have high beam, low beam. It's daylight running, so the light is always on. You have your horn here, you have your turn over here. This design is exactly the same as my Honda CTX 700. People complain about having the horn here, but again, personally, I don't have any issue using the turn signal. And I come from other bikes as well, so anybody that complain about the horn position, I think they are just overreacting, because really, you get used to the turn signal very, very easily. Over here, just 2 buttons, the kill switch, okay, and the start button. 2 levers controls 2 brakes, okay, and the muffler is pretty good looking. Lots of plastic parts over here, nice stainless steel part over here. The inside of the muffler is powder coated black, but I would suggest always just apply some oil on the parts to prevent further rust. And that's probably what I'm going to do after I go back to my house. I'm going to just oil all the parts that might be prone to rust, as well as the frame. The passenger peg is a little fly out design, okay, so you can literally just do this, and it's plastic. There's some grip over here, but not rubber. I would prefer a rubber resting area, but I guess this works for the passenger. Again, I haven't taken any passengers yet, but the seat is nice and big, so I would assume it's gonna be fairly comfortable. You also have a big gripping area over here for the passenger, which is really nice. In terms of seat comfort, again, 140 miles single trip, I have not felt any pain on my body, either on my wrist or on my butt. The only thing I felt is fatigue because of the wind blowing in my face. You also have, interestingly, a parking brake. So if you live on a hill, this parking brake can be applied, and to release it, you just push again, and it releases and locks the rear somewhere here. That's the parking brake. Oil level is checked over here. Again, this engine is liquid cooled, Still have some cooling fin over here, which is pretty interesting. The engine is again bomb-proof. Very nicely designed big bore 270cc engine that is very low stress. So even if you're riding a lot of highways, this engine is gonna last you quite a long time. Okay. Front and back are all disc brakes. I would say most brakes on those name brand scooters is not gonna give you any issue. Okay, so you're gonna enjoy any kind of scooter that you buy, and really the kind of scooter that you need depends on the riding style and your personal preference on the look of the scooter, right? I think we already went through all the important stuff. The tire is still original. Again, only 2,000 miles on this tire, which is really good. I can ride it a few more thousand miles before I have to change it. The tailpiece, standard Honda tailpiece. This looks almost exactly the same as my CTX 700 over here. Those lights are not LED. Those lights are actually halogen lights. So the bulbs has to be replaced. So make sure you check the functionality of those bulbs, turning signal bulbs, the brake bulbs. But the cool thing is it's got two on each side, which is nice. The front headlight is also a two light design. So this is, I think, a 35 watt light on each side, which provides ample coverage in terms of illuminating the front of the road. Not as good as the CTX 700 does with just that 155 watt low beam light. But again, it works without any issue, and it's a very wide coverage in terms of riding in the evening. Okay, so no issues there. And let's see, the parts, the body panels takes a little bit of time to remove if you need to service the valve adjustment. But again, that valve adjustment is not needed for the scooter for many miles later. And I think I would personally check the valve clearance at around 8,000 miles. So I still have 6,000 more miles to go before I reach 8,000. And also the air filter and the belt, the drivetrain, the transmission, all doesn't need any kind of service until it reaches rather high mileage. So this bike for me, again, I'm just glad I found this bike, and so far my impression is very positive. Okay, the wheels looks like the wheels are actually aluminum. Okay, so they shouldn't be prone to rust that easily, but my suggestion, apply a light coat of oil on all the metal parts so to further prevent them from getting rusted. And that's pretty much all I can remember and talk about. The things that I did, okay, I did the oil change. I know it's only at 2,000 miles, but I don't know the previous history. I don't know how long the bike was sitting. So I did the oil change when I first got the bike on the same day. The oil does look pretty dark and black, so I'm glad I did the oil change. New filter, new oil. The coolant is checked. The coolant level is checked over here, and you can refill the coolant in this area very easily. I did check all the levels, and these seem perfectly fine, so I'm going to leave coolant alone. The next thing that might need replace or check, it would be the gear oil, which rests over here in the crankcase. The gear oil is the same as the engine oil, which is 10W30. So, and again, same oil. You don't need to buy any additional special oils. You just get enough oil for both the crankcase and the engine next time you do the oil change, and it should be good, right? Kickstand, center stand is standard on this bike, so you don't have to buy it additionally, which is nice. The kickstand, once it's done, you won't be able to start the bike. So in order to start the bike, you have to have the kickstand up. And the mirrors is probably one of the weak point, I would say, because the visibility is just not good. I see a lot of my my arms over here in this area. It needs to be extended just a little bit more. And in comparison, my Honda CTX 700 DCT had a much better mirror that's a lot more functional compared to this one. So what I'm gonna do is I might actually just buy the CTX 700 mirror and replace this one to have a better functionality, better look, more angular look compared to this generic rounded mirror that's available here. Yeah, that's pretty much everything on this bike that I can give you guys a first impression on. And to be honest, I'm very impressed with the 360 scooter compared to my Piaggio 150. When I rode the 150, I thought, wow, the scooter is already perfect for city riding. But once I stepped on the 300, I'm like, wow, this is beyond perfect. This is like designed for street riding with the necessity to go on highway. So a little bit extra kick out of a 300cc compared to 150, and you would accelerate slightly faster in the city as well. The gas mileage, interestingly, okay, I rode on the highway all the way back, very high speed, 65 to 75. The actual gas mileage is 72 miles per gallon. Okay, so I rode 140 miles and I got back, I refilled my gas and I did a calculation based on the refill, and that's the actual mileage I got. On the display, it also gives you the actual gas mileage. So if you ride in, say, maybe 35 to 55 miles per hour, you can get gas mileage above 80 miles per gallon, which is amazing. Okay. So just show you the dashboard really quick before we wrap it up. So right now, my local in the city riding, very slow speed is 60.8 miles per gallon. The bike now has over 2,000 miles because I rode a very long distance back here. You also have a very useful clock, which is a 24-hour clock. Other options are switching between miles per gallon to liters per, I think, liters per kilometers. Also switching the odometer to miles and kilometers. And over here you have the miles as a main display, but you also have the option to see the kilometers here in the United States. To start the bike, okay, I'm going to grab the clutch and hit the start button. And it starts right up. So one thing I forgot to mention is the first thing I did for this bike is I took out the generic battery and I put in a lithium battery from Shory, and a lot higher capacity, a lot higher cranking power, and also you don't have to worry about the battery dying on you if you haven't ride your bike for a while, or for other purposes. And I think lithium battery is definitely the way to go for any kind of scooter and motorcycle. So I would suggest for anybody else that are, you can see the rear wheel is a speedo. And again, just when you twist the throttle, it's very smooth, very smooth engine. Okay, even though it's a single cylinder, it's a smooth engine. Idles at 1500 RPM plus minus 100. Right now the fuel is full. I literally just filled it. And over here you have two trip meters. You have a trip B, trip A, trip B, and a odometer over there. You can reset them by pressing this little button. And that's pretty much all there is to the scooter. Okay, so I hope you guys found this this first impression video helpful to you guys. Okay, if you did, please do hit a like button or subscribe. And I'm sure locally you'll be able to find this scooter. It's not, for some reason, it's not super popular here in the United States. So you may be able to find this for a great deal at a low mileage. And again, this scooter is literally a just a durable performer that also looks great as a maxi scooter, right? Personally, I think it looks great. And those angular lines, again, is a 2016 year model, so it's not the newest one with most aggressive look, but I think it's still a pretty good timeless look. This is 2016 year model. I think starting in 2017, they redesigned the front just a little bit, maintained the 300cc engine. And apparently people are praising about that redesign. However, just for me riding this 2016 year model, I already had absolutely no complaint about the scooter. imagine how good the scooter is going to be for the newer version that you're going to be looking at. And also, I think most recently they actually introduced the 350cc, the Forza. The 350cc, I think, uses a 330cc engine, which gets you up to 90 miles per hour. And again, to me, I think this scooter is just best used in the city with a maybe 10 to 20% highway commute as necessary. And it is fully capable. But if you can find the newer scooter for even better price, again, below 2000, if you can find the newer Forza, or if you can find the 350 below 2000, that would be a steal in my opinion. And so any other questions you may have, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. And again, I would be very happy to answer those questions for you. Subscribe to my channel, because as I do maintenance videos and also the upgrades for the scooter, and I'm also thinking about a top case, all those upgrades is going to be shared. The video is going to be shared with you guys. Okay, so thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.